Everyone, welcome to your weekly edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Now today I have a very intricate tower card for you, and I would like to thank Jan B, who's a fellow demonstrator, but I'm not sure where she is. I want to say the States. I came across a tutorial that she had done a while ago on this panoramic tower card, and I thought I would recreate it for you using some Christmas product. So if you would like to join me, you're going to need to grab some paper, both designer series paper and cardstock, and a few accessories. So I will show you what I used. I used the Reindeer Days designer series paper, and I've picked this little tree pattern here, but of course you can use anything else that you like. I also grabbed garden green and soft seafoam cardstock. And then for my stamp set, I decided to go with the Peaceful Season bundle. So I'm using the word Merry that I'm going to emboss in gold. And then this is a great set because look, it has these dies for the word Christmas. You can cut out both in a shadow and with the gold foil. These guys are available in our holiday catalog. If you're looking for them, you're going to want to turn to page 24. So this is the bundle that I'm talking about, the Peaceful Season. And then if you keep flipping through the catalog on page 20, oh, I was close. There we go, the next page, 27, that's where you're going to find the Reindeer Days Suite Collection. So the paper is really all I'm using from the suite. However, you can easily stamp and then die cut one of these adorable reindeers in lieu of this one here that I fussy cut out of the designer series paper. Okay, so it's completely up to you. You can use this guy here, or you could stamp and die cut this one here. Okay, this is going to require a lot of paper cutting and a lot of scoring. I have put everything in the description on the video for you. So if you'd like, you could hit that pause button right now and you can go and cut all of your pieces and then we can score them together. Or we'll go together, but keep in mind, you should probably always just reference that list if you have any questions, okay? So I'm going to just kind of show this to you so you can imagine it. We need to cut 5 different pieces of paper to start with to make our boxes. So the first one here, we only need 1 of this large piece. So that's going to be this one here. I have cut this one at 4.5 by 6, and we'll do our scoring together in a minute. Okay, so 4.5 by 6. Then for these 2 pieces, these 2 boxes here, you'll need 2 identicals. So 2 of them here. These ones are going to be 4 by 4.5. Then these last 2 pieces, again, identical little boxes. These guys right here, they're going to be 2.5 by 4.5. So those are going to be the 5 pieces we use to make our boxes. Now I don't want to overwhelm you, but I guess your trimmers are probably out at the moment. So let's go ahead and cut a bunch of other pieces together. It's totally fine. Again, you can pause anytime. So let's start with our layers in the background here. So I need to reorganize my piles here. Okay, I used soft sea foam for my layer because I thought it was just very subtle and it was easy for me to use. So large strip in the back here. This one is going to be, I'm going to go slow so I make sure to give you all the right measurements. 7/8 of an inch by 5 7/8. So 7/8 by 5 7/8. 2 of the next one, so these are identical, so they will be 7/8 by 3 7/8. And then the last two are going to be 7/8 by 2 3/8. So I'll give those to you one more time, but also just go look in the description. I've labeled them as the soft seafoam layers. So they're all 7/8 of an inch wide. Okay, let's just say that. You're going to need 2 of them that are 2 3/8 inches long. 2 of them that are 3 7/8 inches long. And 1 that is 5 7/8 inches long. And we're going to do our designer paper, and please pay attention to how your design is going. So if you have one that is directional, such as these trees, you're going to want to make sure that you can see the trees all along this horizontal line, because if you've accidentally cut it like this, you're going to be very sad if your pattern is off. If you've got a pattern that's non-directional, it won't matter. So these ones are all going to be 3/4 of an inch wide. Okay, so let's make that easy. This one here, you just need one. It's going to be 5 3/4 by 3/4. Three 3/4 by 3/4. And you'll need 2 of those. 2 1/4 by 3/4. And once again, you need 2 of those. So we'll go over those once more. The smallest ones are 2 1/4 by 3/4. 3 3/4 by 3/4. 5 3/4 by 3/4. That's a lot. I know. It's okay. Okay. Then I would like to get you guys to cut 2 more things. Since you've got your machines out, you can I'm just going to move these to the side because I want to show you what you're cutting as we go. I'm going to turn this over. For the back of our project, you're going to cut 2 pieces of paper. Now, one of them is going to be the same color, whatever you've chosen, as your background, and one will be white. Now, you don't actually see this green one hiding in the back, but Jan had a brilliant idea because she built this once just with the white on the back and realized it was just a little bit tricky because you could see kind of the lines that the box is made in behind there. So she suggested using 1 or even 2 layers of extra cardstock just to build the card up a little bit so you wouldn't see any of that background and you wouldn't, poke through accidentally when you were writing on this card. My thought is you might want to just, when we're gluing things, put the cardstock, the colored cardstock on and keep the white until you're ready to write. But it's actually a pretty sturdy foundation that you could write on too. So anyways, these 2, they are the same size, and we're going to cut them at 2 1/8 by 4 3/4. 2 1/8 by 4 3/4. 1 white, 1 the color of your base, and I used garden green. Alrighty, we're ready to get scoring. So if you haven't finished cutting all those pieces, just click pause, then unpause when you're ready to go. Okay, we're going to do scoring because of course we need to build all of these boxes. This is a labor of love card, but it is adorable. Okay, so the thing that you're going to love me for is the fact that these measurements all are the same. You are going to do them all on the 4.5-inch side. Okay, so don't do these all at the same time like I'm doing, but I'm just showing you. As long as you line each of your papers up to the 4 and 1-inch side, you get to do the exact same score lines on all of them. Okay, so we are going to score at 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. Easy peasy. I am thinking now about the write-up that I did, and I want to say I might have flipped this, and it might say score at 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's do that from here on out. If you scored what I told you to, totally fine. As you saw, I can easily flip my paper over like this, okay? From here on out. Let's line up to 4.5 once again. Score at 1, 2, 3, 4. And continuing on, just every time, make sure you are lined up to the 4.5-inch side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Last two little guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that is all the scoring you need to do. All, she says. That was a lot. All right, let's start building our boxes. So the thing that you will find most handy right now is going to be a bone folder. Do you love how well loved mine has been? And we're going to just sit here and start folding on all of our lines. Folding all the same direction, inwards, and we're going to do all of them. Might as well just get them all done. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you get to have fun building. So, you might have guessed, we are going to be putting adhesive onto this little skinny panel, the one that looks different from all the other ones. I'm going to use double-sided tape, but of course you are more than welcome to grab any sort of adhesive, whether you have glue or seal, whatever your preference is, okay? Now the easiest way to make sure your boxes are square is not to sit here and try to do this up in the air. It's actually to rest this onto the desk and to fold the skinny panel and the one next to it just flat on the desk. And then the panel that's here on the left, we're going to fold over as well. So let me grab my take your pick tool. This guy's my best friend ever since I started getting these fun nails. Look, Christmassy. And we're going to fold this over. This is going to mean that our box is perfectly square. 1 down, 4 to go. Grab the next one. Fold that over. Put your adhesive on. I folded down the skinny panel and the one next to it. And I'm going to fold the left piece down over top. And keep making my pile. folding skinny, and first down, the one on the left comes across. You guys are going to be box experts by the time you're done here. The little ones, 2 of them here. 1 and 2. Okay, now we need to start building our tower. But it's not so simple as just to pick the one box and start layering them. We want to make sure that our box actually can bend down and go in an envelope like this. So it does bend down. It needs to go in a 6x6 envelope, but it can go down. Oops, this one doesn't want to pop up. There we go. And it can go down the other way as well, but I kind of like it just this way. Okay, so it can go flat if you want to send this off to somebody. Must have a little glue or something right there. But the reason I picked the Christmas tree paper is because I thought this kind of looked like a Christmas tree when I saw the box design. So that's what we're gonna think about building when we do this, okay? So in order to make it go down the same way, we need to look inside our boxes and we need to find the side where our tab is. Can we see this? Sorry. Okay, do you see the tab here? That's where we had the folding like tab come inside. So I have mine up in the top section here. The key is just to look in your boxes and make sure that the tab and that extra piece are now in the same position on all of the boxes. Okay, there's my tab. So this one can go here. There's my tab. Go up there. And there's my tab. So this one can go here. As long as you can look in the side, they're not connected right now, and they are all in the same position. So mine are all in the top of each box on the right hand side. You're doing good, because that means if you were to flatten this, they're all going to bend the exact same way. Okay, so it might actually make it easier right now if I just go ahead and bend these, because I need to start building my box together, and this kind of shows me the angle that I'm going to do it. So you are welcome to start in whatever way you would like. If you find it easier to line this up evenly, you can grab some Stampin' Up grid paper and then you'd have the nice boxes to work on. But I actually feel like once I have this kind of laid out, it's pretty easy to kind of just do this one at a time, pull them away from the group, and then center it again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this one away, and we need to put adhesive onto this piece back here that was connecting to the one ahead of it. Okay, so I'm pulling it back, and we're just going to put our fingers on there. You could even put a pencil mark or something if you wanted right now. We're going to flip that over. I'm going to put adhesive onto this piece. So just continuously check in with what you're doing, kind of make sure everything's staying lined up. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to connect this little piece to the rest of my tree, and I do want it kind of centered as much as possible. So I'm just going to line it up on that score mark and center it. Don't press down really hard yet, just in case you feel like you need to move something. There we go. Okay, so there's the one. This one's connected. So now same thing, and it's going to be a little easier now, but we're going to put adhesive on the back of the next piece right here. Okay, so turn this over, put adhesive on this strip. This is where glue might come in handy if you're not as confident in like the way this box is going together. If you do glue, it will take a little longer to dry, so you'll have like a couple seconds to fix something if you need to, okay? So we're taking the part we've attached and attaching it now to this centerpiece. Once again, I'm just lining up as close as I can to this score mark. You could even open it if you wanted, doesn't matter, but I find it's easiest if I lay it on my desk like that. Okay, now here's the tricky one, because we can't just turn this guy over and put adhesive all over the back, because then we would have adhesive sticking out the sides and no box to take it up with. So keep this in front of you, slide this guy down and just visualize, okay, which pieces are connecting. That's going to be this front piece now here, okay? So I'm going to just take that out of the mix and put adhesive onto that front piece. Again, maybe I should have probably grabbed a pencil, and each time I had to remove something from my stack, I could have just put a tick mark on it. Nobody's going to see the tick mark. It would have just gotten hidden. So probably a good idea for when I teach this or do it next. Okay, now this one's funny because we're going to have to slide it into place and just try to keep it lined up with its partner, right? We want those two to kind of be in the same position as much as possible. Pretty happy with that. You're doing great. Okay, last one. Same idea. We've got to just plug this guy into place and then visualize that this front panel here is going to be the one that connects to the tree. I'm going to just keep calling it a tree. So I'll pull that out. And on my bottom section there, that's where I'm going to put my adhesive. It's so cute. Okay, and try to center this one as much as you can. If you're worried at this point, like, oh, are things straight? You could just grab something that is straight. A ruler would be smart. But I'm just going to use this and just kind of eyeball those two together. There we go. You need to be down. A ruler would have been smart. But then I have to get up. Who wants to get up? Okay, so see, it's looking so pretty. We could pop it up, but there's no point right now because we need to actually keep adding details to this card right now. And the next detail is going to be our layers of soft seafoam and designer series paper. So it does not matter at all what order you do this in, but we're just going to go one panel at a time and put it onto its corresponding space. Okay, so the only space, if you've got it like flattened on your table right now, you're not going to add anything to is the bottom, because that's going to end up being the bottom of your box. So one to one, we're making these all flat. There's no dimensionals yet because the boxes are very dimensionalized, and we're going to be even adding dimensionals on your reindeer and your sentiment. So just flat, tape, seal, whatever gets the job done. I like to just lift this up a little bit. Your borders are going to be very subtle. It's not a very thick border. So you're going very, very close to the edge just so you can see a tiny bit of green. Okay, it just looked a little awkward on this kind of project to have a really fat 1/4 inch border. So that's why those measurements were so weird, but we're only having very, very subtle layering. Make sure your trees are the right way up, otherwise you'll be sad. Now, one layer. Continuing on. We have a bundle in the catalog that has ornaments. It's called a Hang Your Ornament bundle. And when I first saw this design, I was like, oh, I will use the ornament bundle on this because it looked like a tree. That's what I wanted to do. But then I started looking through the paper in the Reindeer Days suite, and I was like, oh, they have evergreen paper. And so I turned it into a deer card, but maybe one day I'll do a version that showcases the ornaments on this as well, because I think ornaments would look really cute. If you guys watch my videos every week, I have done a puzzle slider card with the Hang an Ornament bundle, as well as a little tag. So please do make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate your support that way. And then you can go back and watch all those fun videos too. There also might be videos that you watch and you're like, oh, well, can't order that product anymore. And that's okay. You can easily substitute something you have, or who knows, maybe you ordered that product and it's been sitting on your shelves. So then you can go get ideas of what to do with it. Make sure your trees are the right way every time. It would be very sad if they flipped over partway through this project. Or maybe it's an optical illusion. So you can see, once you actually get all the cutting and scoring done, it can actually be a very relaxing card to put together. I feel like in building, you know, those paper chains when you were a kid, your teachers just cut strips of paper and you would spend hours just stapling the ends together in loops and making chains and chains and chains. This is kind of what I feel this card is. It's just box on box on box. My kids have not gotten into the paper chains yet. I'm just waiting to see when it happens. And when it does, I am well stocked. I have been saving my paper scraps for them in like those little 1-inch strips for quite a while. But I knew if I gave them to them, all they'd do is just cut one thing off of it and throw it in the garbage. So I give them all the other little scraps. Kept all those strips. Perfect. Okay. Now, if you'd like, you can go ahead and kind of pop this up just so you can see how it looks. Take a minute, you just kind of fold it back the other way. There you go. See, it's looking so fun. Okay, we're gonna decorate the front and the backs now. So the back's gonna be the easy part. We're adding our paper here. Now, before you add the white, if you want to do any stamping at all, you'll need to do that now. You can write on this once it's on the box, but if you want to do stamping in any form, you're going to want to do that. And I figured, well, I'm using the Reindeer Days paper. I probably should use the Reindeer Fun. So I just pulled out this little tree down in the bottom and my garden green ink to match the paper, of course. And I'm just going to stamp that subtly down in the bottom. I think that will look really, really cute. It's not much, but it's great. So I'm going to layer these two together on my flat desk. That will make my life a little easier. And then we're going to add them all together to the card project. These ones, oh yeah, I always try to give a border and I forgot. It's the exact same size. So this is a good way to see if I made any cutting errors like this. Right here I can see a little green. I'm just gonna go chop it off at my trimmer here. So it looks pretty. All right. And then this guy, of course, it's going to have quite a bit of space on the right and left. All you're going to try to do right now is actually just line up a little border on the top and bottom. Okay, so it should be about equal distance from your top and bottom. And then I'm just going to pinch my fingers in along the way, all the way down. So this is nice and secure. I think that looks way nicer than just a plain box. Maybe I'll risk stamping on that later when you're not watching. Okay, to the front. This is where you get to decorate with whatever you have and whatever you want to do. So I loved the paper here. So some of these papers, they do coordinate with the dies. So you're able to cut out some of the deer with the die sets. There's like the doe and the fawn, and then I think the little buck that you can cut out on his own. But then there is like pages and pages of all these other deer that you're like, well, I want to use them too. So I just sat here and I fussy cut a bunch of different deer, and I kind of thought this one that's kind of leaping through the air was the perfect fit for my card here. So I'm going to save him for last. I'm going to worry about adding my sentiment first. So let's start here. We've got the word Christmas, and I mentioned those dies, they cut out both the shadow, so I did that with the garden green, and then they cut out the inside portion with this gold. I love and hate dies like this because in the past you would have to sit here with glue and put glue on every single little crevice just to make sure that it bubbled or didn't pop off of your card. But within the last few years, Stampin' Up! Has come out with these adhesive sheets. They come in a pack of 12 and they are 6 inches by 12 inches, so a package will last you a whole long time. But basically what they do is they turn your paper into a sticker. So you would take one of these sheets and peel off the plasticky side, leaving you with something that's very sticky. And you'd stick that piece onto any sort of cardstock or foil, whatever you want to turn into a sticker basically. And then on the front, of course, you would take your die and you would cut just like a regular die would go through your machine. It will cut both your paper and through that sticky part. So then when you get this, which I have done that with already, all you need to do is just figure out where the sticker starts, which you might need to take your pick tool for, or just a moment of luck when you're not on camera. You can never do this on camera. Okay, there we go. So it started right there. And you just gently peel the backing off. Don't leave your finger on there for long because you'll feel it. It's sticky. It's a sticker, but you don't have to add any extra adhesive. Oh, it stopped coming. I have to start from the other side. See? This is all a sticker now. Makes my life so easy. And this was the gold foil, if you're wondering. The metallics would also look beautiful. And then you're just going to very gently put this onto your bubble background. Okay, I will give you a little tip. When you cut this out, this little I is separate from the rest of the letters, like all the other letters are together. So make sure you don't lose the I. Cut out your bubble back first, and then just stick the I straight on where it needs to go. Otherwise, you will be a little sad, and you'll probably just have to chop off that little section so it never looked like it had an eye. It's okay, it's not the end of the world, but if you want the eye, make sure to keep track of it. The dot. There, see? Easy. I'm not sticky from glue. Here's where we get to use some dimensionals. Let's pop this guy up, and we're gonna put it right in the center of our card here. Four. Just put that right across, kind of in the middle here, between my long strip and this one here. Fits perfectly with a tiny little border around it. Oh, it's so cute and shiny. Okay, now we need to do a little bit of embossing, or you can of course do stamping too. That would look great. You could grab your garden green ink, you could stamp the word Mary, and we'd all be happy as clams, okay? But I wanted gold. We've got gold foil, might as well do gold embossing. So what I've done is I just grabbed myself a little scrap of garden green. It's about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch wide, just whatever you have in your scrap bin. And I did make sure it was longer than the word Mary, because then you have something to hold on to with your tweezers, so you're not going to get burnt or miss embossing part of your letters. So I cut myself 2 just in case I make a mistake here. But I'm going to move that. Bring in my Versamark here. I've got the word Mary mounted on a block, and the cleanest Versamark I have seen in a long time. I have like 8 Versamarks that I dig from, so I must have missed using this one. Most of them are pretty stained by now. There's your Versamark, which kind of looks cute too. You could almost just do that and let it dry. Not gold embossing powder, and see it's long enough for me to just hold it. So you want to make this like 2 inches long or so. Make sure to tap on the back gently so you get any excess, and then just so your fingers don't get burned, if you've got some tweezers, that would be lovely. So I'm going to heat this. You won't be able to hear me talking, so I'm just going to mention before I start, what you're looking for is a change for this Mary to go from kind of this dull brownish look to a really shiny gold. Okay, as soon as you start seeing that shiny gold, you can move your heat tool, and you can probably even stop if you've finished the whole word. Let's see here. I'm gonna stop. Oh, I wanted to catch it before I did all of it for you to see the difference. But do you see? It's all pretty and shiny now. I'm gonna give it 1 more second. Here we go. There's my word Mary. Okay, you'll have to excuse me for a second here because I'm going to clean this. Just don't want it getting spilled. I would be so sad. Set that to the side. All right, now because we cut this so large, you are going to either need to grab your trimmer or just a pair of scissors if you're comfortable and snip off that extra. If you really wanted to, you could make this a banner by just going at an angle, but I kind of like the clean rectangle look just for this one because we're matching the style of the rest of the card, right? So I'm popping this up on dimensionals as well. Bring back our sample for you to see here. And for me, I wanted just to put that up in the corner. Thought it looked cute there. A little lower. I have to play with things. All right, and then the deer, we're just going to put him up on dimensionals too, but make sure you only put dimensionals kind of in the body or the head, because some of his limbs and his antlers, they do kind of come off the page, and you don't want him flat on the page, like super stuck. Just, I'm putting 2 on his body and 1 on his face, and the rest of them, he'll kind of just look like he's flying then, which is probably a good idea for a reindeer. Oh, okay, so funny story. We were making our Christmas wish lists, and Darius decided he wanted to make Ara, who is our dog, he wanted to make her a wish list for Santa. And he's like, well, what'd she like? I'm like, well, maybe a dog bone. And he's like, okay, he wrote dog bone. He's like, oh, she likes deer bones, which is what we give her. So whenever my brothers go hunting, they don't throw anything away. They take what they can use, and then they chop up the deer bones and we freeze them, and Ara gets them throughout the year. So he's like, we should ask Santa for a deer bone. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really know if the reindeer would like delivering deer bones to Ara. And he didn't quite get it, but Theron did. He was like, yeah, that's not a good idea. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just bad with the mom jokes too, but I thought it was funny. I was like, I don't think those reindeer would want to give Ara any bones, any deer bones. So we settled on asking for a bag of carrots because Ara loves eating carrots, and we just said, please share with the reindeer and bring Ara a couple carrots. Alrighty. Thanks for listening to my tangents. Here we go. Hopefully you enjoyed the card. I know these can be a lot of work, but the intent is that you get to do something that maybe is out of the box and is something different than you've ever experienced before. So I really hope you had fun this week. Please, please, please make sure to check out other videos because I would love for you to watch those. They're good anytime, so you can watch them whenever you have a moment, or who knows if you're having a whole crafting marathon day. But I do hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Tune in next week for another edition of Show Me How It's Done, Tuesday at noon. Bye!